All right, my name is Douglas Hill. This is going to be my Module 1 submission video. I decided to make a Rust project. Um, if I'm skipping things in this video, it's because the previous video took like 15 minutes to make when I went into depth. So I'm going to skip some things. I'm going to go into really what's most important to demonstrate the stretch kind of goal that I gave myself. So I made an account management system, and yep, we've all done those before. But I wanted to make it so that I could save the account information and come back to it. And the program keeps track of an account ID that gives each of the accounts between times that you run the program, and it will load all of your previous accounts in. So right now I don't have anything loaded in from any of my testing. So I just start with my main function. It calls this program startup function that I wrote, and it does a whole lot of stuff. The gist of it is that it reaches out to these two folders and looks for the JSON files. Those JSON files hold struct member information, and I'm going to just pop that open real quick. Actually, I'm going to stop and go back real quick. I'm going to look at my menu. Basic menu. I create an account. I look up an account details, delete an account. I make a deposit, make a withdrawal, display all account information. That, however, is just account holder and ID, and then I quit. It's just done with a basic loop with no conditional. The zero option just breaks the loop. So I'm not going to go into more detail than that on that. So we're looking at program startup. So first thing it's going to do is it's going to check for these two file folders here. If they don't exist, it will create them. That's done with functions that I did myself. So it will check for those. It'll say, is this folder, that folder, does it exist? Create a folder if it doesn't, and it does it twice. That's really just for a startup when someone first clones the repository and runs for the first time. So it'll check for the folders, then it will load all JSON files. And this is where it gets kind of squirrely. Me knowing exactly where all these functions are, because there's lots of them and they are very intertwined. So first off, it will call this generate list of account JSONs, which is going to use the file system library and read the directory, this directory here specifically for JSON files. It's going to look for files with a JSON extension. It's going to push it to a vector and then return that vector. And it'll return it back to here. And then it will use it as match keyword in Rust, which essentially makes sure that the conversion that you have done is correct. And then if it is correct, then it will take that account that's created and it will push it into a vector of accounts and then return it. See, so we need that. Yeah, so we've covered that. Really, the thing I want to talk about the most is how I get to and from JSON files and structs. There's this library in Rust. I'm not going to pronounce it. SCRDE. I'm not sure exactly what it stands for, but it is designed specifically with Rust to convert data types to and from JSON. In this case, a struct. So we just create a string using this library, and then this is going to have a particular struct parameter brought in that it uses to create that string. It's going to create a file name of where I want to put it. It's just going to concatenate the account holder's name with the ID number, so I can have multiple accounts with the same name but with different unique IDs. And then it's going to create a file with the file path, and then it's going to write the data from the struct to the file. And I'll kind of show you what it looks like here in a sec. But this is, up here is just basic account struct and different things. And this is how Rust is not actually truly an object-oriented programming language, but you can implement different methods in this manner. So you have the struct declaration, and then you do an imply account, or in this case, the account's name of the structure. So whatever your structure name is, then you can create methods. So it's like object-oriented, but it's not exactly, not quite the same. It's not classes. Then these are wrappers that change the way that the struct works. So the serialize and deserialize are part of serializing struct data to make it into a file, and then deserializing file to make it into a struct. So that's the basics overview of what really was going on in my program to allow for the saving of the data. So now I'm going to go ahead and just give you a demonstration. So Rust uses cargo build to build, and then cargo run to run. So here, the account ID and account JSON files folders already exist, so it didn't need to create one. So um, there was no existing JSON for the account ID, so it loaded the default one, which just has the account ID starts at 0, and then it will increment up each one time. So we can see here that when I look for display all accounts, I don't have any accounts yet, so I'm going to go ahead and make one. Me myself. So you can see now says number of accounts 1. There's me. I'm going to go ahead and make one. Say my wife. She'll have a bit more money than me. So you can see the account ID increments 0 to 1. Meanwhile, it's keeping track of what the next account ID is going to be. So if I quit and then start up again, it will now show me I'm loading this file, I'm loading this JSON in, and then it already has an account ID that it's keeping track of. So I can, again, show all my accounts. And these numbers are not going to be always in order because the JSONs are kept in alphabetical order, not numerical based on the ID. So they'll be mixed up a little bit. But you can see, we'll do a savings account for my daughter. She's got $100. So you see now that even between closing and opening the program, it kept track of what the next ID is supposed to be. So now I'm just going to do a quick demonstration of the deposit, withdrawal, and delete functions. So I'm going to go into account ID number 2. I'm going to deposit $1,000, and then I'm going to go back and look at it. And you can see that she started with 1,000. Now she started with 100. Now she's got 1,100. Now I'm going to take some money away. I'm going to take away 500 and look back, and now she's got 600. And then the good old delete function is, so I'm going to enter Emma Hill. And I have to enter both the name and the ID, so I can keep track of multiple accounts with the same name with unique ID numbers. So if I look back at all of them, now she is gone. And that is my program.